Hi guys. I know there are lots of you out there who are going to be picking up your materials today from school, so that's either you or your parents, and you need to make sure when you go get your stuff from your locker that you also grab your math packages. They are not in your garbage bags with all of your locker contents, because when I was there on Thursday putting that stuff together, the lockers weren't cleaned out yet for those classes. So make sure whoever goes to get your stuff, when they make the call to the secretary saying that they're there and they give your name, make sure that they also mention that there should be a math package from Mrs. Maskiw. The math packages are in a box in the Centrum. Make sure that that gets picked up because you are going to need it. Now, those of you who already got your materials, because your pickup day was on Thursday, I've had a couple emails from people a little bit concerned that they have to do all that work. Don't worry, that's the work from now until the end of June. So if we get back to school, then we will finish some of that then. So please don't start on that. We're going to keep doing the same thing we've been doing, where I teach you a lesson and then I ask you to do something. If your day was Thursday and you did not pick up your materials, so that's people from 209, 217, and 219 who did not pick up materials, your parents are going to have to make a phone call to the school and make arrangements to go and pick them up. Now, if they get there and there's a problem, your stuff, all of the stuff from your lockers and your math packages are in a big garbage bag, and they are under the tables outside of Miss Comet's room. So 217, 219, and 209, your garbage bags are outside Miss Comet's room. So make sure you have that information when your parents phone the school so that there won't be a problem. Now, I know those bags are there because I put them there myself. Most of you came and got your stuff. I know there were some who couldn't. Your stuff has all been taken out of your lockers. It's in a garbage bag with your math stuff. Just make sure that somebody makes a phone call to the school before you go, because I'm not sure that you're going to be able to access it this week while other classes are getting their stuff. You're not going to need anything in there until later on this week, and then we'll get into more of that stuff next week. So I'm going to head downstairs and get ready for today's lesson. Everybody's set now, got your journal, turn to page 12. We're going to have a look at the Thanksgiving dinner problem. So, we've got the dinner table set with 6 people around it. So if there's one person at your dinner, you have 6 people. Every time you add a table, we have to get rid of this person. I can add a table, put that one back, and I add 4 new people, which means if I count it up now, I have 10. If I add another table, I will just keep adding 4 people every time I add a new table. So we've recognized already that these are going up by 4s, which means that I can simply keep adding 26, 30, and if we have a nice big dinner, 8 tables, we would need 32 people. Unfortunately, when I get to this one here, I can't keep adding, so I've got to try and come up with an equation. So let's keep in mind that an equation is going to have an equal sign in it. So I know that the number of people is going to equal something that I'm going to have to do to the number of tables. And this is a little tricky because I can't just add 5 each time. That doesn't work. I can't multiply by 6 each time. So I'm going to give you guys a little trick. Always giving you tricks about what to do. I see here that these increase by 4 each time, and these are increasing by 1 each time. And what that means, sorry, that should be by 1. What that means is that our variable, which is the t here, is going to be multiplied by 4. So the number of people will equal 4t, and now we can figure out what to do with it. So if I take 6 as the number of people equals 4 times 1 plus, what do I need? Well, I need plus 2. Let's try this one, see if it works. So I've got 10 people, would be 4 times 2 tables plus 2, which means that I've now figured out my equation, and this is going to be plus 2. 4t plus 2. Now, we get to the next piece where we have to worry about 50. Well, this should be easy now because I know that I'm just going to plug 50 in right here. 4 times 50 is 200 plus 2 would be 202 people. That's a big family to have a Thanksgiving dinner. So now you've got those notes in your journal about what a formula is and what an equation is. So just try and remember that an equation has an equal sign, expression does not, and we're going to follow the model of formula, substitute, solve. So now we're going to add in a graph because that's what 9.3 is, taking a look at graphs. So I'm going to go back to one of the questions we worked on the other day with the farewell for the grade 8 students. So we decided that the farewell was $4 per student plus $75 for the picnic shelter. So no matter how many students are there, I'm going to be paying $75 for the picnic shelter, which means if nobody shows up, $75. If one person shows up, $75 for the shelter plus $4 makes $79. So I'm just going to keep adding 4 as I go down, 91 and $95 for 5. All right, now let's quickly put together an equation. Well, I know that I've got C for cost equals the number of students times $4, so I'm going to call that 4S, representing number of students, plus $75 for the picnic shelter, no matter how many students there are. Now, as I said, we are going to graph this one. So I'm going to make sure that I'm going to label my x-axis. I'm going to call this one S, and I'm going to call this one C. And this here is going to represent the number of students. So right now, you should be following along in your journal. You've got space for a graph. You're going to do exactly the same thing I'm doing. So I've got the number of students, and here I have the cost, and I'm going to make sure that I show that it's represented in dollars. Next, every graph needs a title. So we'll call this one Grade 8
Farewell.
Farewell. Perfect. All right, number of students, well, I've got 0, which is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And of course, I could just keep going if I like. Now, the tricky part here is going to be labeling this, because I know that I can't go 75, 79, 83, because what that's going to do is make my intervals not equal, okay? And I got to make sure that my intervals are equal. So maybe what I could do here is increase by tens. So let's go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. All right, so I know that my first point is going to be at 0, which is right here, and 75. So my first point is going to go right there. My second one is going to be at 1, and I'm just going to move this over a little bit, is going to be at 1 and 79. My third point will be at 2 and 83. Then I'm going to go to 3, 87. 4 will be at 91. Okay, and 0.5 will be at 92. 5, right there. Now you might be asking, can I put a line through these points and join them? You can't. With a linear relation, you may not put a line to join your points. So this is how we correctly do the graph. And if you pay attention to the next slide, I'm going to tell you what it is that I want you to do for practice. Get outside and play sometime today.